Life to the living.
Death to the dead. We have sworn to protect the living from the lingering dead.
Keep the incarnate and the invisible separate.
To bring peace on errant souls.
Once their grip on this world is broken. Life to the living.
Death to the dead.
Life to the living. Death to the dead.
Life to the living. Death to the dead. Honoring my oath. Or sacrificing the living to bring me back. I'm not sure I can do this.
Honor your oath or bring me back.
February 2024 was a packed schedule for video games, filled with many anticipated releases such as Persona 3 Reload and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It is unfortunate that Banishers Ghosts of New Eden has been somewhat overlooked. When footage was first released at the Game Awards 2022, the art and the themes of this game intrigued me. Despite an intense release window, I knew I wanted to try out Don't Nod's latest game. After spending a couple of hours playing since its release, I have put together a video to share my thoughts and opinions and hopefully encourage any curious viewers a chance to experience this game. This is my review of Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. Life and death are the key themes explored in the story of Banishers. Centered on a married couple, Red and Athena are ghost hunters. Set in 1695, the communities of New Eden are plagued by ghosts. Red and Athena are assigned to solve haunted cases. One night, after encountering a powerful ghost called a nightmare, Athena is unfortunately killed in combat. Red, being the only survivor, meets Athena's ghost. She has returned to seek revenge against the nightmare that stole her body. The game follows the couple's journey while also exploring a complicated question. If you were given the chance to bring a loved one back, how far would you go to get it? Players will get to experience both outcomes of that question. Red can either recover Athena's body so her ghost can safely ascend, or he can sacrifice humans to resurrect his lover. The relationship between Red and Athena is evident front and center. Despite a tragic circumstance, their interactions made me believe they are a strong, loving couple. Aside from the gameplay mechanics, which I will touch on later, their conversations during cutscenes reflected this rich dynamic. Actors Amaka Okafor and Russ Bain, portraying Athena and Red respectively, delivered beautiful performances. The nuances in their voices presented them not only as a radiant couple, but as independent individuals, with opposing views about life and death, which made for interesting discussions.
Only now, nothing's tearing us apart.
Death has already torn us apart.
I hate that this is where we are. I hate that I'll have to say goodbye. But for now, I'll do everything in my power to catch you.
This is how we win. Thank you for being the kindest soul I've ever met.
From my perspective, the story of Banishers is about learning to let go, even during times of grief. The 5 stages of grief are illustrated not just through Red and Athena's journey, but also through other characters they come across. While solving haunting cases, the ghost hunters meet other humans and ghosts. Players will complete the main story objectives, as well as engage in other side missions through optional character conversations. The haunting cases consisted of jaw-dropping to heartbreaking moments, tackling themes such as social standings, religion, and philosophy. Every case will intertwine with Red's and Atina's views on themselves, the world around them, and their role as banishers. Choices make up the majority of gameplay in Banishers. After every haunting case, players will make one of three choices: blame the living, banish the departed soul, or ascend a soul, granting liberation. Every choice made determines the fate of the characters. While I will not reveal what choices I made, it goes without saying that every choice in this game does matter. Conversation dialogue options also give different responses, but when a specific choice has to be decided, this is when the game gets serious and engaging. This kind of gameplay experience almost felt like I was reading an interactive ghost story from the past. The developers at Don't Nod created a world reminiscent of 17th century English folklore tales. The world of New Eden is filled with haunting beauty, no pun intended. There were moments when I slowly walked through the many different environments, such as forests, cliffsides, and abandoned villages. Void traveling also opened a whole new world of exploring the underworld, filled with spectacular colors and visuals. Banishers' Ghosts of New Eden had beautiful worlds to navigate. The amount of work put into creating the vast number of locations was clearly shown. To further add to the amount of detail, switching between Red's and Atina's viewpoints was a marvelous gameplay mechanic. From Red's human eyes to Atina's ethereal space was a noticeable highlight to observe the game's art through different lenses. There is a free exploration component in the world of Banishers. The open world map expands the more the player explores. Traversal is primarily done on foot, unless there is a blocked path, creating obstacles for Red and Atina to solve. Power-ups or ability upgrades are often required to solve environmental puzzles. For example, Atina's magic can break barriers of blocked pathways and unveil secret spots by removing spectral webs. She can also wield an ability to teleport to unreachable areas via teleporting dimension spaces. With the size of the open map to explore, campfires are the ideal resting spots. There, players can upgrade weapons, change equipment, spend skill points on new abilities, or fast travel to other campfires. Resting does restart everything, including respawning enemies, but it is ideal to locate as many of them as possible to make traversal easier, particularly as more haunting cases unlock, shortening the time to travel from one end of the map to the other. Treasures can be found in the world of New Eden. Treasures include coins and parchments, among many. Other resources such as linen and even mushrooms can be found during traversal. They can be used to upgrade weapons and equipment at the campfires. Some are also a necessity to perform rituals at various sites. There are a total of 5 rituals. Hearkening and Make Manifest are primarily used to solve haunting cases. Specifically, they reveal memories of past events and summon ghosts. Summon Scourge is another ritual that leads to boss fights. Defeating powerful specters rewards players with rarer resources, such as new battle equipment. Unbounding is another ritual that removes curses on locked chests. Unlocking these chests also rewards players with the more valuable resources. Void Traveling, as mentioned earlier, is another ritual granting players to access the underworld. These elements make Banishers a deeply expansive game to explore with multiple dimensions to discover. Banishers is an action role-playing game. Players can customize their characters via costume and accessory changes. Because the game involves controlling both Red and Athena, this opens a variety of approaching gameplay. Each character has their own unique set of abilities. Red uses weaponry from swords to gun rifles. The sword consists of both a light and heavy attack, while the rifle is ideal for long distance and powerful blows. On the other hand, Athena, as a ghost, uses spiritual attacks. Apart from light and heavy attacks, Athena can also use ethereal pushes to attack multiple enemies at once. During traversal, these abilities can also be used to solve puzzles. Red can use his rifle to shoot down hanging objects to lower bridges. Athena uses magic to identify things Red cannot see. Playing this game on the PlayStation 5, the controller will make a chiming sound. In addition, the controller light will change color. Switching between Athena and Red was a memorable gameplay moment. While portraying Red, there is an orange light emitted, and Athena has a blue light. Switching is necessary in combat. Health is shared between Red and Athena. Potions are readily available, however, I do recommend switching between both characters as often as possible. This not only created a variety of gameplay, but was useful to mix levels of damage to different types of enemies. Athena makes up for speed, while Red delivers heavier results. Combat can increase in difficulty. Witch wards are scattered, which can prevent Athena's participation in battle. Traversal and combat come hand in hand in playing Banishers. Destroying witch wards will bring Athena back into the fold. Dialogue options appear during both gameplay and cutscenes. While solving haunting cases, players will need to collect clues and uncover secret pathways to determine the outcome of these cases. Through many readings and character conversations, players will choose either to banish an evil spirit or punish the living humans. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden is a visually beautiful looking game. On my PlayStation 5, Don't Nod's latest game presented a world that needed to be explored on the latest hardware. That is not to say that the game had its faults. Unfortunately, during my first playthrough, I encountered multiple technical issues. For one, I noticed subtitles failed to match the audio dialogue, a very distracting element when the story and themes of this game were interesting. During cutscenes, glitchy patches appeared on characters, whether an item of clothing is flapping about or characters strangely staring off camera. During puzzle solving, objects suddenly appeared, thus blocking pathways. One puzzle in particular forced me to restart the game through autosaves, thus creating frustration in completion. During combat, enemies got trapped in environment spaces. While it made defeating them somewhat easier, this humorous glitch faltered my gameplay experience. After a couple of updates, those minor faults lingered away, but for what the game has presented, technically, it could be a lot better in today's standards. With those minor faults in mind, the game has made up with how beautiful the art was. Again, Banishers is visually one of the most beautiful games I have seen this year. Thankfully, this game has photo mode. I had a great time capturing amazing screenshots. It comes as no surprise that being the casual photographer that I am, I wanted to capture both scenery and gameplay moments. Thankfully, photo mode has a variety of basic options, flexible and easy to use. Here are some screenshots I have managed to capture during my gameplay, and I look forward to capturing many more. Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden is a game that players should at least experience once for its art, themes, and gameplay mechanics. If you are into ghost stories and old English tales, then this is a must-try. Despite some technical issues and time passing over the competitive video game releases of this year, Banishers should not be overlooked by those reasons alone. The Beautiful World by Don't Nod should at least be given a chance for its time in the sun. I applaud the art directors for trying to create something different, ambitiously tackling the complex questions about life and death. Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden is now available to play on PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S. And that is my review of Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden. If you had played the game, were you satisfied with the outcomes of your choices? Feel free to comment below. If you like this video, feel free to check out my channel for more. Thank you all for watching. This is Pearl, signing out.